Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on an infrastructure project that I've been putting off for a long time. So this is a patch panel I have coming into my workshop here with some Ethernet jacks, and then of course I've got my machines. On the other side of this wall is a 24-port Unifi POE switch that I have mounted, and basically I hate having it there. So got a bunch of supplies here, 30-foot Cat 5e patch cables, tons of these, and another patch panel. And we'll walk through why I'm doing this and what I'm going to do. All right, so here we are under the stairs on the other side of that wall. So the shelf with the other panel and that monitor was right over here. This actually used to be on that shelf. That's why the shelf's a little bigger. I might have a video where you can just barely make it out from a few years ago when what the workshop used to look like. So basically I thought that was a pretty cool setup. And unfortunately, this thing just makes a ton of noise when the lights turn on. So it's powering 4 of the Unifi LED panels, and it really starts cranking up. And so I thought it was a genius when I brought it in here. I thought, oh, I was going to solve all my noise problems. And basically all it does is, A, you can still hear it, and B, it just vibrates into the wood. This isn't insulated, and it just kind of, you can feel it on the desk in there. Super annoying. So I know I could just Noctua fan mod this thing. I don't really want to do that for a few reasons. A, I don't really want to mess with it, though it might be a fun project. B, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have this in here anymore. My rack is just 10 or 15 feet that direction on the other side of a wall that looks just like this. And so it's kind of silly to have this over here when the rack is in such close vicinity. And now that I have UPS in the rack, like, you know, battery backup when the power goes out, it doesn't make sense to have to put another one in here just for this switch if I ever wanted it to stay on during a power failure situation. I want to consolidate that all on the rack. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this thing down. We're going to run a trunk of 10 or 15 Cat 5 cables that way. We'll put a patch panel in the same orientation here. I think that's going to be a lot better of a setup. So having boxes of Ethernet cable in bulk like that is super convenient for things like running security cameras, or even the LED panels I had in there, or basically long runs where it's worth it to be able to choose exactly the length of cable you need and have tons of it. And of course you have to crimp it and have all the other tools you need to be able to accomplish that. But a mistake I made when I put the panel in is I did every single 15-foot cable coming off of it in the rack by hand. And that was like a total waste of time. So this time I needed 30-foot lengths. Monoprice had these guys for $2.99 each on sale. It's just Cat 5e, but that's plenty good. So this time I'm going this route where I've got a bunch of pre-cut ones. I knew exactly the length I needed. I'll have a little extra, I hope, I think. And so I'm gonna go that route. These are all Cat 5e. I do have a 10 gig NIC on my main machine, so I've got a brand new Cat 6 that will run in there. Unfortunately, it's not yellow, or I should say, unfortunately, these are yellow. I would have preferred blue, but the yellow ones were on sale, and I couldn't say no for $2.99. And then, of course, tons more Keystone jacks for that panel. So what we're going to do is, this is a rare opportunity. I'm going to loom all of these yellow ones up together on the floor here before I have to drag them where they go, and then we'll get them routed. More supplies here. So this is 15 of these. I have 5 or 6 more. I think 15 is going to be more than I need back in that little room. I think I'm using like 10 right now. So I should be able to grow into this. So what I'm going to do is spread all these out best I can in a line and untangle them, and then we'll comb them together. All right, after you do like 5 of these, you'll realize there's a particular way that each one wants to unravel. And if you can figure that out, you can pull it out a little bit and then throw it and it'll undo itself. So 6, 7 more to go. All right, looks like total nonsense, but I guarantee you it's gonna be 1,000 times faster than cutting and crimping these by hand, and my fingers won't be killing me. So I clearly underestimated how long 30 feet is. I'm gonna drag all this stuff that direction and get the camera set up, and we'll loom it all together. All right, so what I'm gonna do is use something called a cable comb, and it basically lets you combine all these, if you haven't used one before, into a manageable bundle, and it should get more obvious as I get closer to the camera what's going on. right, well, that sucked. Way harder than I thought it was going to be. Fought me every step of the way, but we've got 30 feet of, you know, questionably bundled cable, but it'll work. Better than all of them being separate. 15 runs in total. Party time. You know, the yellow's kind of growing on me. I kind of like having the two different trunk colors there. All right, now we'll briefly turn our attention to that patch panel I'm going to mount. I'm going to copy an idea I had for mounting this one. So you can see there's a simple L bracket here and then some just generic bolt hardware. And so I've got some of these L brackets, not quite the right size, but they'll work. And then of course, just some little bolt kits. What we'll do is get the L bracket mounted to this. In fact, maybe I'll have to screw this to the wall first, the L bracket first. We'll see. Get this all put together. I'll definitely put the patch, the keystones in before I bother putting it on the wall there. So let's get that done. All right, I'm partway through here and I cannot recommend this patch panel, this Keystone Jack patch panel from Monoprice. So I got it because it was affordable and I've already broken it. So the tolerances for the keystones actually going in are so tight that you have to really jam it in there, and I can't imagine I'm ever going to get them back out, which is sort of annoying because it defeats the whole purpose of them being modular. So I already get to tape that back to the panel. That's nice. Definitely recommend this one. So this one I got on Amazon a long time ago. It's like 2 or 3 times the price, and now I know why. It's just a simple metal panel on the keystone. I mean, I can pop these in and out very easily if I wanted. Yeah, this one's a little bit of a joke. I'm going to forge ahead, but yeah, I can't recommend that. All right, if you end up buying one of these cheap Monoprice Keystone patch panels, I figured out the trick. So you set your keystone in there and you get it as close to in as you can. And you put this face down. I was doing it the other direction. That's what broke the first panel here. You take your big ass tractor wrench and apply pressure until it sounds like it broke. Then you're good. So I'll do that a few more times. Yeah, this is what you want your brand new patch panel to look like. We're gonna cover it. Perfect, just like I planned when I picked this up. That's definitely not gonna hold. I'll be zip tying that later. All right, so the deal with these brackets is you put them on, then you go to wherever you're gonna mount this thing, and you mark your holes because my bolts are too long and I don't feel like trimming them. Then you take them off, then you mount the brackets, then you put this thing all together. So I'll show you the finished product after I take that switch off. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. New patch panels in, switches out. I think what I'm gonna do is use these just 2-inch screws into the joists like this, and I'll just zip tie the bundle up to them. So I've got it snaked in here. I'll take it up and just, zip tie it to screws, get it over here, and then plug them in. All right, old meets new. This is looking really, really, really good. There we go. So the last thing I have to do is I'll snake that Cat 6 cable just on top of the bundle, and then let's go hook up that switch. All right, if you thought I was done with this switch, you'd be wrong, I guess. Got it mounted off the back. Why not? So this is sort of a temporary setup until I decide how I want to configure everything. So technically, I have enough ports on this 48 port switch up here to run everything, but I'm thinking forward to more UPSs in the rack, and I'd want to run maybe this one and the UDM Pro, the router, when there's a low power situation, so that I can have some PoE going, and then I could have everything else in the rack shut off. The big 48 port switch running all the cameras, we'll let that shut off. So yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. So in the interim, this is a way better setup. Man, look how I just organized all this. Look how bad it looks. Like 2 weeks later, I've already made a mess. My little snake coil here looks good though. So yeah, I'm happy with this, and you know, you're always iterating and changing. I'm sure I'll redo it in a year, but for now, it's better than what I had. I couldn't capture it well enough on the microphone to do it justice, but it is so much quieter in here without that switch on the other side of the wall humming away. So super happy about that. That was sort of the main driver here. It is so much better in here. I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, that project was nagging me for a few months. Finally bought everything I needed. It's not done yet, so I'm still dealing with sending 10G over, you know, my 10 gig lines over Cat 6. I'd much rather send it over fiber. That's why I didn't bother bundling up some Cat 6 into that loom we made, because next on the list from an infrastructure perspective is getting fiber into this room from the rack, which should be pretty straightforward, so I don't have to deal with those little RJ45 connectors anymore. So yeah, thanks for following along. Definitely more videos to come, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.